Tell us what's going on with this whole TikTok situation. I thought Trump may have been a little out of bounds demanding a company be sold. But look, if it's a threat, if it's a defensive threat to us, then he could do it, and he did it. I like it. But now TikTok is fighting back?
Well, without a doubt, John, TikTok is looking to explore every legal avenue that they can in this case. And we talked about it a few weeks back when the president signed an executive order against TikTok. And listen, there's a reason why the Defense Department decided to block any usage of this application going back to 2019. Their experts and their cyber analysts there all concluded, unanimously that it's a very dangerous application. It can be very invasive. It can also help distribute the private information of its users. Again, it's a Chinese-based company. And one of the things that always makes me laugh is sort of like the manufactured outrage on social media by people saying, no, the president's being punitive, the president's being oppressive. No, he's not. I think what he's doing here is taking a very proactive stance against a Chinese tech company that quite honestly could be, dangerous to our national security. The Defense Department saw it nearly 2 years ago, and I'm glad that the president's taking this action. Now, as far as TikTok, a private corporation is concerned, I know that they're right now in negotiations with Microsoft to sell off their shares to them. But at the end of the day, listen, John, at the end of the day, this is just an application we can do without. I understand it's the big craze right now.
Fernando, hang on. I cannot do without my TikTok, okay? Because my daughters, they don't pay much attention to me these days. But when they come up with like a TikTok dance or something, I got to do it like 20 times, and they're cracking up laughing. So I need some kind of TikTok for the dance moves, to this, to that. But, is there do you know of any American alternatives to TikTok?
Well, currently there are none, but I know that Microsoft, again, is looking to purchase TikTok. And as we all know, Microsoft continues to be an innovator in the tech field. And we'll see what happens, John. Again, I think in the long term, sort of in this chess game, when it comes to cyber terrorism, we have to really take the initiative here and making sure that we're not vulnerable and that we're not leaving ourselves susceptible to any sort of cyber attacks from hostile countries.
Yeah, well, look, I'm a capitalist. I'm an American. I'm a patriot. But I don't love when the government starts sticking their nose into commerce. It kind of gets a little tricky for free market capitalists like me. But when it becomes a threat to our national security, then that's where the president and our administration, they get the benefit of the doubt on that. And I had Chris Carter on this show. He's the CEO of Aproyo. They're partners with like Ernst & Young, and they do all this cybersecurity, way back in like November. And he was saying that it was a really serious threat to America that by one kid having TikTok on their phone, when they go in their house, if you have like a smart house, that phone goes on your router, then TikTok's in your router, and it basically gets in everyone's phone who goes on the Wi-Fi in your house. So it's like a massive spying tool. And if you got like alarm systems or you have generators or power, if the Chinese government wanted to get like really heinous, they could start shutting down homes and areas, and it gets scary after a while.
Absolutely, John. And listen, as if we don't need another reason to hate the Chinese government, okay, after what's happened this year with COVID, with the Chinese virus emanating from that government, and now this, it's like sort of a systemic methodology by the Chinese government to do whatever they can to cripple us, whether it be sociologically, but more importantly, economically. And this is something that we really have to keep an eye out and be really vigilant on.
No doubt about it. We got to talk about also, I took off Friday. Frankie filled in for me because I had to drop off my baby girl, Ava, to college. She went to Marist, and we dropped her off on Friday. She's there, thank God. God bless. Everything is going good. She actually even has some in-person classes, which is nice. I didn't get any financial aid, of course, but you're reporting that certain college students will get less aid next year, and it's going to really hit home with kids looking to go to school because of all this pandemic crap.
Well, absolutely, John. First of all, congratulations to Ava on her, incoming freshman year. I remember what it was like, the excitement of arriving on campus. So congratulations to her, and hopefully she'll have a great time at Marist, and certainly we'll get a great education there. But this is a story I think that's going to be on the radar for millions of families, John, because coming up now in October, on October 1st, as a matter of fact, coming up for the 2021-2022 academic school year is when students and their parents alike can start filling out their FAFSA, their financial aid applications. And what's interesting about what's coming up is that aid is going to be appropriated based on not just only their 2019 income tax returns, but also in 2020. And some of those returns may not accurately reflect the applicant's finances, especially if family members vis-a-vis their parents lost their jobs in 2020 due to COVID. So if the package that most people are going to be applying for isn't what they're used to receiving, guess what? What I would urge students to do is to contact their financial aid office, because I think this is something that's really going to linger for thousands upon thousands of American families as we continue with higher education in this post-COVID America.
Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed at how expensive college is. And, I could tell you, as my kids were growing up, I always had this benchmark of 2020 in my head, because I knew my daughter Victoria is a senior in Wagner College, great, she's in the nursing program, and my daughter Ava would be a freshman. So I know this was going to be my overlap year where I had 2 college tuitions in the same year, and they're both north of 50 grand. And thankfully, my kids were raised at home. Their mom is a great educator, so they all got scholarships for some part. But for the regular working guy, if the financial aid is down, the prices of college just keep going up. A lot of kids are going to get screwed for being in the middle here.
Absolutely, and it's something we've talked about on previous episodes, John. Higher education now in the United States has gone from just being this institution of learning to big business, where public and private universities alike are looking at this as a business model, not just what they can get from tax subsidies from their states, respectively, but what they can do in terms of donations from monthly alumni or other nonprofits that choose to invest in these schools. At the end of the day, students are put in a really big disadvantage, Sean. They're raising fees every semester, tuition continues to skyrocket, and now in this post-COVID world, especially here in the United States, students are going to have to start adjusting to not just in-class instruction, but going back to Zoom meetings. And we all know that might not be the most conducive environment for learning.
No, it's terrible. I asked my own son, because, I'm coming on every day screaming and yelling, we got to open the schools, we got to open the restaurants, we got to open the businesses. I'm going crazy every day. And then, I just kind of asked my son, I said, son, truthfully, do you want to go back to school or what? He's like, yeah, Dad, I want to go back to school. I really want to go back to school, which kids never say that. And I said, okay, good, because I've been talking about it on my show. He said, when you go on there, tell them I'm getting dumber. This is what a 14-year-old kid says to his father, I'm getting dumber, and I said, what does that mean? You're not working hard? He goes, Dad, they give us the work in the morning. We have all day to do it. You can Google things. You can look things up, this, that. We're not really learning anything. We're just doing tasks. And the whole learning experience and the atmosphere in the school and the, different socioeconomic community elements of learning about different people and interacting, it's all gone right now. And it could be really detrimental to our kids, but we got to leave it.
And I have to tell you, listen, socialization is such a vital component for our kids' development, whether it's my college students that I teach, or as it works its way down into the high schools, middle schools, even elementary schools. That interaction with your fellow classmates and with teachers, that goes a long way, once again, in enriching your learning. And I understand that schools and many districts feel handcuffed by what's going on with COVID, and some may not open, but right now, at some point, that socialization that we know we benefit from is going to be vital.
No doubt. No doubt. These kids are not developing already with these phones. All right, Fernando, we got to leave it there. Thank you, brother. We'll see you soon. Keep up the good work. Check out Fernando on Real Talk via Eyes on NJ. Quick break. Come back with some news of the day right after this.